Smart Cookie presents the Lunch and Learn series, helping motivated real estate professionals grow their industry skills and knowledge, one video at a time.
My name is Lily. I'm the founder of Smart Cookie Jobs. We are a job platform, career platform specifically for commercial real estate professionals in Germany. And part of the mission of this company is to provide resources to our members who want to not only find their next job, but also provide the development in their career progression that is meaningful to them. So we're really excited today to introduce Maria. Maria is the founder of and CEO of Cambridge Finance, and she is an expert in financial modeling and real estate. She is a consultant for companies in financial modeling, and so we're really lucky today to have her lead us through this discussion of the fundamentals of real estate financial modeling and how that can be accurately used within AI. And I'm going to mute myself now.
Thank you so much, Lily. It's a great pleasure to be here. Thanks so much for inviting me. I think it's very topical now to talk about AI and financial modeling. I think we still, as an industry, we still need to understand how the cash flows work because data is very opaque. So it's one thing that AI is really helping us this day. So thank you again for the opportunity, and let's get started. I think if you have any questions, please do put them in the Q&A box. Okay, I'll try to answer them. I'm gonna leave some minutes at the end to answer any questions you might have. So please do ask your questions because I think this is how we're gonna make the most of this webinar. Because otherwise, it's just a watch on YouTube and that's it. But I think this webinar, live webinar, you can ask your questions and get immediate answers. Okay. Or you can also ask AI for the questions. Right. This is what I want to talk about today. So we're going to talk about deconstructing AI, the basics of financial modeling in real estate. Okay. And how we use AI, what is the important thing about financial modeling and what is important in terms of AI as well use and how we're going to be more productive with those tools. Okay, so in this 1 hour, more or less, webinar, we'll cover what AI can and cannot do in real estate financial modeling, how AI fits into the modeling workflow, the risks of using AI in financial modeling, and common modeling mistakes that AI makes, okay, and how to fix them, how to spot them and fix them, actually. Okay, so I hope this topics will appeal to you. Before I start, my name is Maria Wiedner, as was kindly introduced by Lily. I am a CFA charter holder, and I am also a charter surveyor, member of the RICS. I am founder and CEO of Cambridge Finance. I'm also the main trainer in Cambridge Finance, which is a company, as is written there, I founded. And our main focus is financial modeling. So either we do financial modeling for the companies, so they're trying to raise debt or equity. So we do a financial model for them. We tell them, okay, how much money they need in terms of finance and where this money may come from. And we also do capital raise for companies as well for projects, and we teach. So I think the main thing is that we teach. You can either hire us to do the financial model for you, do the consultancy on your capital stack, the advisory, or we can teach you how to do it yourself. And I'm pretty sure a lot of our students, a lot of delegates can do this after they attended our course, which I hope is one of you attending this webinar. I also have a diversity network called Real Estate Women, and this Real Estate Women group aims to bring awareness of gender inequality. So we talk a lot about gender pay gap, but it's not only about gender. We also talk about minorities in general. I'm also a member of the RCS, Commercial Property PGP, which is Professional Group Panel, which is one of the groups that is trying to increase the membership relationship from the members and the institution. And I'm also associate professor at I University, and I'm also a published author of real estate financial modeling in Excel. So the book is published, is available on Amazon if you want to buy it. It's being published by Routledge Taylor Francis, which are main like publishers of textbooks. Okay, so this is all about me. And then without further ado, I'd like to start talking to you about AI in real estate financial model. So what AI can and cannot do. I think AI can do everything. The only thing is that most times on financial modeling, it can be wrong. It looks amazing. You can do a financial modeling no time at all. But you need to be very careful because it's not perfect. Okay, so there are mistakes. So you need to try to really catch what is wrong with the financial model, with the investment analysis. So an example of what AI can and cannot do is AI can generate a cash flow structure, write Excel formulas, flag logical inconsistencies in a model, tasks there mechanical and well defined. So you can, with a prompt, you can just tell Excel, here's my deal, create a 5-year cash flow quarterly, fully flexible in Excel for me, and then it will create for you. Give me the KPIs, give me the IR, then PV, and then we'll do it for you. Sometimes you don't even need so much of like a specification, especially Claude, and then it'll create a financial model for you, and it will look pretty reasonable, and we can go with it. What AI cannot do, AI cannot source market evidence, judge whether rent growth assumption is credible. I think if you ask a Claude or AI, ChatGPT, they will say, yes, it's credible. Yes, they are very confident in the answers, but you need to test, right? Like you need to know really if it is like credibility is one thing that is your credibility. So you need to test if this is correct or not, and or assess the specific risk, like what is the probability, like how much capex you're going to need to refurbish the place. Like you need to give exactly what the state is, and then it won't tell you like this is my building, how would you invest in it. It will give you some answers, I'm sure, but you need to know the deal, you need to know the market, you need to know what can be done or not. This is your skill that it still needs to shine through despite AI. So it's the human expertise and market context that AI can't do. Like it can give you an answer, but how comfortable you are with the answers, this is, I think, very important. So how you say, okay, this is right or not. I believe in the answers or not. So you have to know the answer first, because a lot of times the answer is not aligned with the market, what the market is saying, or the data point is just made up data points and so on and so forth. So you still need to make the assumptions more specific for AI in order for this to work. Another example, C is using the wrong model architecture for the asset type, is a conceptual error. AI replicates the error at speed if prompt is wrong. I think mainly here what I want to say is that sometimes you look at a model and then you say, well, is that really how we model a hotel acquisition? And then you're going to say, and then you're going to try to tell Excel like a Claude, or I'm using more Claude these days.
Maria, I'm
And
sorry to interrupt here. I just want to say I don't think we can't see your presentation, and I think that you're going over that right now. Is that correct?
Yeah, no, I am sharing. So sorry, guys. I thought I was sharing. No. So this is all what I was talking about. I was sure to share. So AI cannot tell me that I'm not sharing. Thank you. Thanks for letting me know. So this is where we are. So I'm reading my presentation here. So I hope it's okay. But that's what I was. But it's the presentation. So I think the message is clear. So mainly AI can do a lot of things. Actually, can do everything. But you need to be very careful with the answers, the output. Okay. So in terms of financial modeling, my suggestion is to say, okay, if you have no idea how a deal should be modeled, then maybe start with AI for like a template or something but you have to check everything. Like you really need to test. So like if you're unfamiliar with financial model, I would suggest you start first before actually like trusting AI to do everything. But you need to be very confident that that's how you model a shopping center. Maybe you can use like to download a template, but then you need to really feel comfortable with this template. That is the right way to do the analysis, the right way to look at things. How are we going to apply it? To treat AIs as highly capable modeling assistants, not a decision maker. That's very important. The decision is going to be with you. Define the structure, assumptions, and logics yourself first. the model should formalize your thinking. You already understand, not generate the thinking on your behalf. So that's very important. So this is one thing that I have to tell you. Like, if you don't understand the output of AI, study first. Maybe even use AI to learn something, but don't just go with the answer, because this answer is not going to be right, and it's going to be you're going to look very bad in front of whoever you were trying to present the model or the investment case, and so on and so forth. Okay, how does AI fit into modeling workflow? So practical applications across the model building process. So example A, deal screening. AI can rapidly structure a high-level appraisal, test whether headline numbers are in the right range, identify which variables are worth modeling in detail. So it can, right? Like it will, if you tell them, AI, please, you structure a high-level appraisal for an investment in an office in central Frankfurt that is already there. The tenant is a long income already. The contract is for 10 years. The tenant is Microsoft or Apple or something like this. And then all you need is a very high level appraisal that is not complicated. Then AI is pretty good at doing this. And then you have a template that is very quickly put together. So, and you can also tell Claude, please tell me which variables are worth modeling more detail, where you think the risks are, and so on. So you can have this conversation with Claude. Claude is very conversational. Example B, model construction. AI can write and check Excel formulas. So you can just tell it, AI, Claude. Claude is pretty good at doing models. And then you say, okay, do everything instead of doing Python, do everything fully flexible in Excel with formulas that I can change, separate out the inputs and outputs. So you can have this conversation with AI, and then build sensitivity tables and flag where name ranges or cell references may be pointing to the wrong input. So you can have this conversation with the Claude, for example. You just need to find out, like, okay, what do I need to be aware of in this model that may be wrong, and then you can have this conversation with Claude. And example C is output in presentation. AI can structure results into a clear output sheet, draft assumption logs, reformat a model to follow color coding and best practice conventions. So as I mentioned, AI can do everything for you, but it's my experience with AI is that you are better off having a model than, like having your own model that's already something that you built, and then just using that model, because your model is your AI as such. It's going to be your modeling skills. You can start with AI, like if you want, like you don't have a model template for anything and just want to download something, you would have downloaded something from the internet anyway, so you can download from AI. So that's not a problem, but you need to be able to check if everything is right. Okay. But one thing that AI is pretty good on the modeling workflow, and this is one area that has really helped me, is create presentations out of the spreadsheet. So like I need to present the deal to my clients. So then I would say, okay, here's IRR. So before I put any data, like specific, like I can't put like specific deals on Claude because of the confidentiality issues. But I can just say, like without any address or anything identifying the property and the seller or the buyer, you can put a lot of things in Claude. So then what you do is then you can create, for example, presentations, and Claude is very good in presentation. ChatGPT as well. I think any AI that you use can really help you with the language. So that's why we call it the large language model, because in terms of language presentation, AI is very good. The numbers, the Excel part, you still need to be a little bit more careful for now. But in terms of the language, it's very good. And especially, I think maybe you can hear I have an accent, so English is not my first language. And then having this help of AI, just checking that the English is right, or if you don't speak German as your first language, then the German is correct. So this is one thing that AI into the modeling workflow really help, like presenting this information in PowerPoint. Okay, how to apply this? So use AI as each stage, but apply the same quality controls you would show any model. So once you have the output from this model, you need to really check that, like it's linking to the right cell. So that's why sometimes, for me at least, it takes me like I don't use AI made models because it would take me longer to check if everything is right than if I do it myself. So I do it myself because it's quicker. It's just like if there's something really that I've never done, like a deal type that I've never done before, then I ask ChatGPT or Claude for some ideas of how to model it. But that's it. Like afterwards, I tend to model everything myself because then I know I have control of the formulas. I know where the numbers are coming from and so on. Whereas with AI, I would have to check it. What AI did. Maybe I'm a bit of control freak anyway, so that's why I check everything. But then I have to check the formula. Okay, is it working? Is it how I would model, or is it better than what I would model anyways, and so on. So you have to test the formulas. You have to test the boundaries of your inputs. If it breaks, do you understand why it breaks, and so on. So AI accelerates the build. So also in terms of modeling, you can have an Excel part, like I don't know how to model, for example, the cash reserve. I want to make sure that I'm going to have a cash reserve, and then when it hits more than when I have more than 500, then I'm going to distribute the extra cash, but I want to keep a minimum of 500. And if I forecast over the next 3 months that I'm going to eat up on my cash reserve, then I need to do a top up, how I'm going to do the top up, and so on and so forth. So like in this kind of like, if it gets a little bit more complex, AI is not going to do the whole model for you, but you can ask questions like, okay, this specific part, I'm a bit stuck here for ideas on how to do this formula. Please help me with that. So I think AI is good at giving you ideas, but you need to make sure that it's you're very comfortable with the outputs. Otherwise, there is no point. In terms of presentation, you can check if the IRs match and so on and so forth. But otherwise, that's how I approach AI with financial modeling. Now, I think I spoke a lot about the risks of using AI and how to manage them. But one thing, it's not only with AI, it's with any model really, is this over reliance on AI, because AIs may put a lot of garbage in, right? So you need to be able to identify the garbage, because otherwise, if you don't understand what the model is telling you, then it's going to be the garbage out, and you're going to be completely blind to what the garbage out might be. Okay, so don't never ever just make a financial model in Excel without really understanding where the numbers are coming from and where the inputs and outputs are, because otherwise you're just gonna get like pretty muddled scenario that you're not gonna know for sure what's going on. So the example A, over reliance on AI generated outputs, a model that looks complete, and it will look complete. I have to admit, like Claude Excel is very good these days. It looks complete. It looks pretty. The color coding is everything. It's well formatted, but then it tells you, oh, this is the yields, but then it takes the revenue instead of taking the NOI. This is the capex, but then it distributes the capex in a way that you say, okay, I want to distribute a capex distribution according to an S curve, and then the S curve is not really correctly calculated. So you need to know before you can actually use the financial model. But it looks very good. It looks very good, I have to admit. The only thing is that so far there has been mistakes, and of course, you can go back to AI, say, oh, there is a mistake here, please fix it. But then, it's quicker you do it. Compounding errors is if AI builds on flawed premise, the wrong asset type, or like it comes up with a rental growth that, is just what they think and is not really what you want. If anything like that is incorrect, will be compounding the error because it goes very quickly. So if you're going to build a model in Excel using AI, I would say just build piece by piece. Don't try to build like the whole model with one prompt, even if this prompt is huge. Like you can create like prompts that are very big, and then it will go like step by step for you. But if it makes a mistake in the beginning, then you can't, and then you have to tell you made a mistake, and then you will redo again. But it's I mean, I hope you. Lily, did they answer the question about like how they are using AI? So
Only one vote for the
Vote.
question of have you used AI to help with any real estate task yet? And that was no, not at all. But I have a feeling that some of the other attendees maybe have used AI. So if you
Mhm.
could go to that poll question, let us know if you have used AI, ChatGPT, Claude, whatever, to help you with your real estate tasks. We have 2 votes. I mean, we have just a few attendees today. So we also have a poll question about, your confidence level in creating financial models. And that will be helpful, I think, for Maria as well to understand.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it looks like
Yes.
some people have never used AI. The majority of people have never used AI for any of their real estate tasks, but there's a few that use it daily. So we have
Okay.
both ends of the spectrum here.
Okay. If you haven't used AI yet, then you are missing a lot. Like you're missing out really. So you need to start. How are you gonna start? Just start. Okay. Is it like Google? It's not really, because Google is you have your questions there, but then it's up, and then you have to collate the answers and then come up with a thesis. With AI, like you need to understand how you're going to ask those questions, and is that the way of thinking about how you interact with those tools, Google and AI, is a bit different. It's like how your brain is gonna work in terms of what kind of questions can I ask and what do I think AI can help me with, because sometimes AI can help you with more than what you think, really. So that's the main thing. Okay, so AI. So I think here is saying like Claude is my go-to tool, AI. So if you're not using AI, you can use. I would suggest you start with Claude, but you have to start. Like what kind of asks, what kind of questions can you ask, and so on and so forth. The other thing is example C, inadequate stress testing. AI will produce a base case without challenge. You will produce a case there. And certainly, it's going to come with an IR solution, an IR answer, and which might look okay, but you really need you need to pick up the errors, and then you can only pick up the errors if you understand first how to do the financial model or how deals are structured. Just don't put the financial model. Just don't. I've seen people just like, oh yeah, AI can do now financial models in Excel. Of course it can, but do you understand what is written there? Can you really say that is right or wrong? Otherwise, you just assume it's right, and then you take this for granted, and it's just not okay. How to apply it? So with AI, you have to, once you have a model from a financial model, make sure that you can. It is like your model, like separate the inputs from the input from the outputs, source and document everything, includes scenario analysis, sensitivity analysis, make it look like your work, like just don't put something out there that is clearly made by AI. Okay.
Maria, do you have a model that you could actually show us? I think you were planning on maybe doing that.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. So let me just go through let me just see here. So this is a financial model that, it's a very basic model, but it's a development appraisal, for example, that I built myself. So I know exactly where the numbers are and I know exactly what it is doing. Okay. So, and then if I need to change anything, then I know that it's where to change those things. So, because otherwise, it's AI is going to come with a valuation. What is the thinking of the valuation? Is your rents, where the rents, is the rents correct? How are we going to check that this 50, for example, is correct? The area, it's okay. Like you can feed the floor plan onto AI, and then it will pick up the right number. The net yield, you need to go and check your comparables. You need to check current data, which AI is not very good at. So, and then you need to do the valuation. And do you understand this valuation here? Is this value? What is this value telling? It's 25 million. Like what 25 million? Is it the value that you're going to sell it for, or is it the value of a stabilized asset at the end? So like all this theoretical knowledge you need to have as well, right? Otherwise, AI would just put the 25 million there, and then you're going to say, okay, but this is a development. Am I really going to sell for what we call the GTV? Do we have to do any adjustments for this sale price? What would these adjustments be? Okay. Of course, you can spend your whole day asking AI to tell like, okay, the 25 million, what are the assumptions on the 25 million, so on and so forth. But if you know already, and then you're just you just that's what we call, where you're just augmenting your efficiency, augmenting your knowledge, then it's a lot. Then that's when it's really like productive to use AI. Okay, so you need to know first what you're doing before you use AI. If you don't know what you're doing, I guess AI is quite risky. Okay, so here is a model that I use just like for development appraisal. So very basic. And then here I know how the construction costs. I know all the assumptions. I know like the construction costs follows an S curve, how this S curve is calculated, how is the soft cost calculated, and so on and so forth. And then also the assumption of selling the building, when I'm going to sell the building, and why this number here is 107 million when actually the valuation of the whole asset is 121 million. So where is the leakage coming from? And then here I see like, okay, there is this leakage, right? That's the main thing. So that's the financial model. So I mentioned like, okay, so spotting common modeling mistakes from AI models. So conceptual errors. So these are the areas you need to look out for. Calculation errors, not following best practice, flawed data, or inadequate sensitivity and scenario analysis. So conception errors is pretty much like applying generic models and like you have an investment model. It's just that it looks wrong. Like there's no way people model like that, so you need to be able to check that, it's not the right format. Example B, sometimes like Claude makes these mistakes, like trading purchase price as equity rather than the total cost, and then we'll ignore like stamp duty and acquisition fees or further capital requirements. So you can be specific with Claude and say, like, please, take into consideration future negative cash flows and so on and so forth. But it's easier if you already know in your formula that you have is already picking up all the costs like going forward as well. Like, not treating equity just in terms of purchase price, but sometimes they get confused. Confusing gross development value with the net realizable proceeds, double counting agent fees, or misapplying a VAT treatment. It's very common that I will make those kind of mistakes. Apply investment yield to net income, but using gross passing rent as inputs, overstating the asset value. So that could be, something that AI could get it wrong. So you need to really like trying to spot the mistakes, because if you just get the number there, GGP is 300 million, and it's like, oh, but actually it's picking up the wrong number. So how to fix it? So you need to know. Actually, you need to make sure that when you prompt, you tell Excel, you tell AI a lot, but it's every cell and every deal is different as well. So you have to be very careful how you're gonna do deal by deal. Define each put. So you can tell Excel, you can tell Excel, no, you can tell AI like the exit yield should be calculated on like it's a net yields. So therefore, take out the purchase cost. So it can be very granular, and then AI will get it right. But in my opinion, you'll be better off learning Excel and learning how to model and learning the theory of real estate finance if you're going to use it all the time. Otherwise, you're going to spend a lot of time just talking to AI. Yeah. It's not productive at the end of the day. Calculation errors, hard-coded figures, that happens a lot with AI. Just there's lots of hard-code figures. Formulas linking up to the wrong inputs, that happens a lot as well. So you need to check, like, is The example I gave with the GDP. So the GDP should be, your net rent or NOI divided by your net yields. Sometimes it tells it's GDP, but then it picks up the gross rent. It picks up the gross yields, and then you take out the purchase price, and you have to know those things before you look at using AI for modeling. IR versus XIR as well. Like, you need to check if the AI use the right function. So you need to know about financial modeling in order for you to check. Following best practice, you can tell AI to follow best practice, but you need to check as well. So I think one of the areas that AI really makes it wrong is the formulas with hard coding, and also the if function. Sometimes models can have like 30, I don't know, these days, like it can have like 10 if functions like from AI. So you need to look at the cells and say like, okay, this formula here is huge. Like, does it work? What is it doing? So it's not very elegant. So these are things to look out for assumptions and inputs. As I mentioned before, like the rental growth, like it will apply rental growth that you tell them, but like, is it really right? You need to, check that the comparable. Example B, stabilized yield apply to development yield. So you need to make sure that like all the theoretical framework is applied to this model, and then just test the model throughout. I'm conscious that I need to leave you some questions. Are there questions there, Lily?
So far, we don't have any questions, but
Okay.
I recommend everybody, if you go to the Q&A tab, you can see there's a broadcast to everyone to put your questions here specifically for Maria, and I encourage you to do that as we are closing, getting closer to the end of the session. We want to have some time for everyone to get their questions answered. The more specific you can be, the better.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'll keep my eye on this, and if anything pops up, I'll pipe up and let you know, Maria.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm finishing already. It's just that I want to leave enough time for the Q&A. Okay, and then the last thing that we need to be aware of is the inadequate sensitivities in our analysis, because if you don't specify what kind of inputs you want and what is the range of testing you want to go, then Claude or AI in general will make the assumptions. Sometimes the assumptions are right, sometimes the assumptions are wrong. So the more information you feed into in terms of data and instructions, the better will be what you get out. Okay, but then there's a limit of how much instruction you're gonna give, because then before you make the assumptions or you create the prompt, then you already spend so much time creating the prompt that you might be better off just doing it yourself. Okay, so check it if there is a downside scenario. Check that the variables are relevant. That is put in the sensitivity analysis. Test that the scenario analysis there will have like the variables and the variance that you want, that you think is important, is appropriate for this kind of risk analysis. Okay, so you need to understand. So AI will help you a lot, but you need to first know, and then you can use a lot of AI. So that's my take really on AI, and then can really help you speed up the process. Right. So just to summarize here, one thing I like to mention is like this, just to give you an example of what AI can generate. So as I was preparing for this webinar, I checked like, okay, I want to look at a deal in Frankfurt, for example. And then I gave a prompt, and I gave a prompt in Claude. Okay, that was just like this. So research current office properties for sale in Frankfurt, Germany, across major platforms like prime routing, company space, and local agencies, extracting for top 15, 20, listing the price, location, size, yields, tenant info, construction year, and key features, then compile into a sortable comparison spreadsheet with filters by price per square meter, neighborhood, and yields. Don't forget to give me the link where the property for sale can be found. So there you go. So that was my prompt, right? So I just wanted to find some information on the property markets in Frankfurt. And then amazingly, it gave me this spreadsheet. So property name, Bürogebäude Komplex, Frankfurt Periphery, the other one, Wohngeschäftshaus, Sachsenhausen, and then it gives information of occupancy and what it is, the tenants, what is the lease, WALT, so weighted average and expired lease term, the energy class, and then the key features, and then the prime property, like what is the floor split that they found, gave me a link, and then gave me notes. So this was done in no time at all. And then when it came out, I was like, wow, this is amazing. How did they find out all these things, right? And then because I asked for the source, then I was like, okay, if you know where this thing is coming from, then I should be able to find this information in the link. So I went to the link and I couldn't find any of those properties that were linked here. So can you use this? Not really. So in terms of timely data, it's not you can't trust these numbers, but it looks very good. Like if somebody can put this together in no time at all, and if this were actually true at the time of downloading, it would have been amazing, because like something like this would take God knows how much. Maybe like 2 days or something to put together. I also gave information about the leasing market. So Frankfurt office market, take up from JLL, and so on and so forth. So all this, you will need to go and check. It is quite helpful because then if it is right, it's amazing. You just need to go check. Or if you know in your head that it's more or less right, that the prime rent in Frankfurt is about 51 euros per square meter per month, then they're fine. Everything is perfect. But otherwise, like you have to go and check those reports and say, well, are this really telling me available space and everything else? It also gives the yields by submarket. So this is also amazing. CBA prime yields in these regions, and then estimated net yield, and then the net yields here is just taking off like 1% from the prime yields. Again, the prime yields in my experience is already the CBIE, at least prime yields already net. So this column here would not be right. So if you send just something like this, it wouldn't be correct. And then observation, core products, and then the deals that appear there. Are this true or not? So who knows? So this is this thing that AI can do very quickly and very beautifully, but with my experience, those data points here are not they are not right. So you need to be careful when you are collating data, that this data is the latest data. Okay, you need to check that those data points actually exist and they are correct. Like if you just use CBIE prime yields, but CBA prime yield is already net yield, and then AI is calculating another net yield. What is this net yield coming from? So, but you have to know. Summary. So AI, so I hope with this session you understand what AI can and cannot do. In my experience, it can do everything, but you need to check because most of the time it is not correct. How AI fits into this workflow. So use it every stage, but audits very well. The main risk is over-reliance, because you need to make sure that you check, like you need to know first. And then it's very important for you to check the errors. So conceptual errors. So is the model correct? The calculation errors, you need to go and audit the model, not following best practice. Huge formulas with 10 if functions. That's not correct. Inputs and outputs not clearly color coded, for example. Sensitivity analysis that are not adequate, poor assumptions. So all this we need to check in order to. So actually, like using AI for financial modeling, if you're just creating a financial model, you're going to spend more time auditing the model than if you were to create one from scratch. So my suggestion is have your good model. Okay, it's going to take you time to build this a model from scratch, but once you build one, you're confident that it's working for you. And then if you want to change things, it's you change the inputs. You might be able to change the formulas as well, but you know where the formulas are coming from, so you can quickly change. Because if you use AI for modeling, then you have to go through the 10 if statements that AI does, and then and then you have to make a change, and then it's take you so long. So I would suggest learn financial model in Excel, and then you have this tool that will help you through with your investment analysis. Okay, so I'm gonna stop. This is my contact information. So do a screenshot there if you want to contact me. I can't contact you. So if you want anything, please let me know. Follow me on LinkedIn. Give me a call. Whatever you need, happy to discuss your requirements in terms of investment analysis, financial modeling. We do have a course coming up. We have online courses in that you can take, like about financial modeling, the European way to financial model as well, because I think a lot of things online, the American ways. So this is the main difference, and I hope I explained everything okay for you. And if you want to know more about financial model and how to use AI, please do reach out. But the main idea here is for you to really make sure that you understand that AI, you need to check everything before it goes out the door. Okay. So
Anyone have any other questions for Maria? Maria, I actually have a question for you. Have you ever used any other AI than Claude in your calculations, and how do you use it? Are you uploading an Excel sheet and asking it to do calculations? Or are you using Claude Code?
No. So what I use GenPark, like ChatGPT was the way I started AI was with ChatGPT, but now Claude is better than ChatGPT.
What
I
makes
use
it better? Just,
the logic. Yeah.
logic. Okay.
Yeah, everything. So if you want to, how to bake a cake, not that I bake cakes and I ask Claude to bake cake, but for example, those things, and then the instructions are better, the language is better. It's just smarter, really. So yeah. And then I use for Excel, it's for my financial. Sometimes I ask questions like, I have a table in this cell and I have another, and then I want to create a summary of this table and what kind of formula should I use. And then Excel, then they give me a formula, for example. So it's mainly like a formula, because then once I understand this formula, then I put in the model, then I'm okay with it. But just creating a model itself. Sometimes I use a template, like to template it, like, give me a template for Resi with 10 units, but then it's the same. But it's like, if it's very simple, then I'll just, if I don't have a template for that specific asset class, but then I have to check. Then it's more work to check. But then because I'm quick with checking, so then it works. But a lot of times I like, oh, this is the net yield, but then it's not the net yield. And then it says like, okay, this is the IRR, and then it checks like, oh, you forgot to add this cell in the calculation of the IRR, and then you forgot to add the exit value in the cash flow. So there's still like this kind of errors that, of course, you can go back and say, hey, you made a mistake. Hey, you made a mistake. And then you fix everything. But that's what I said. Like if you have a model and then you understand what's going on, then it's a lot better. You are a lot quicker. So, yeah.
And have you used Claude Desktop, or is this the browser version?
I use the browser version. The reason why I use the browser version is that my feeling is that it gets updated is a little bit quicker for me, at least. Yeah. And even you can test, like, even the answers are different from the desktop and the browser. So I prefer the browser for the time being. But I don't think it makes a big difference, to be honest.
I actually have one more question because I'm someone who uses AI a lot, almost as a sounding board. I wouldn't say a companion. I don't want to go that far. It's not like it's another person who has a lived experience who I can trust, from their own experience. It's more the probability of what Claude is or whatever AI I'm using is going to respond with correct information, or at least some sort of baseline to help me work through problems. Do you find yourself going to agentic or any kind of AI and asking it to help you solve like a specific modeling error? Like you already have the model, because you know how to build them, but there's a decision that has to be made in terms of, I don't know, like an assumption. Like if you have to make an assumption, do you go to an AI to help you make that assumption? Or are you using industry standards or your own?
No, you cannot. Yeah, you can never use AI from decision making. Never, ever, ever. It has to be your decision. If you're going through problems, don't let AI solve your problems. The answer, you're not going to be happy with this answer. Be comfortable be confident of what you can do. So if you have an assumption you need to make, you can brainstorm with AI. That's not a problem. Brainstorm, but make sure that the answer is yours. You can go like, I can get an industry assumption or but don't let it make decisions for you.
Yeah.
I think I see questions here.
These are my Q&A questions and so I think honestly we're ready to wrap up. I want to thank you, Maria, for coming today and giving us this webinar and presenting, from your experience in financial modeling, how AI can and can't be used. And I want to thank all the attendees today.
Thank you so much.
And until next time.
Yes, until next time. Thank you all. Now I'm to the airport.
Right. Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
This was a recording of a live Smart Cookie Lunch and Learn webinar. If you want to attend one of our upcoming Lunch and Learn webinars, sign up at our website at www.smartcookiejobs.com for a free account.